To click or not to click, to post or not to post. These words may be the new Hamlet substitute. However lame and ridiculous they may be, it seems to be society at this point in time. There's a new emergence in communication in society, and it takes place through the tips of our fingers rather than the tips of our lips. This new communication travels at the speed of light and can unite millions of people across the globe in an instant. At one time, the history of society leaned strictly on the printing press. That was the greatest thing that happened, and that was a couple hundred years ago. And that was it. That was how we all decided to communicate with each other. Today, it's social networking. Social networking and overall emergence of the technological age has changed the world. The political process, the way we handle ourselves in society, organization, education, basic communication relies strictly on social networking and thumbs, really overdeveloped thumbs. That's how I view us as evolving in the future, by the way. Whether the new social movement towards a screen is viewed as advantageous or detrimental is up to each one's opinion and how you view it and how you study it yourself. The consistency of connectivity has enabled people to accomplish incredible things. But has the use of this technology hindered society and stunted our growth as a people? Has this new world brought us together as a society, or are we alone together? So in this speech I'm going to be discussing with you guys and probably asking you to participate slightly. I'm not asking you to do jumping jacks or anything like that. Just about the history of social media and technology nowadays, the use of political process and its effect on society. So in the middle of the 20th century, computers were very massive. I'm sure if you haven't gone to Disney World, you're missing out on life. But the giant ball, it looks like a big golf ball. Epcot, they have that ride where they run through the history of things and they show you the giant computers and the lady in the afro. It's hysterical to me. That's how they viewed people back then. And they used a substantial amount of energy, these large computers. However, through the creation of the personal computer, which was first created by IBM, the average American was able to own a computer, have one inside of their house, and then it was perfected later on by guys with the names of Steve Jobs, who all of your iPhones and everything like that, he's responsible for that, and Wozniak, the people at Apple. They created the Apple II, which was the first user-friendly computer. And the social networking seemed to be the best way for the world to share information once everybody had computers in their house, an incredible forum which the world could self-educate and increase their rate of awareness and gain an understanding of the world around them. This was the dream of social networking. The creation of such ideas, like many other things, went through trial and error periods. You know, there was the ARPANET, which none of you would know about. That was back in the 1970s. Through the creation of the internet, you had to email and the chat rooms and the instant messaging. That turned out to be a bust in the long run, mostly because of odd people on the internet. I'm sure that's happening through Facebook. And then there was a creation of MySpace and Facebook. I can see you cheering. You are ridiculous. This is not it. This is not the interactive part. You're totally missing out. This new form of socializing is now being used for advertising, politics, and it has 200 million people worldwide. It's a pretty large amount of the population, all doing this one. In 2004, you may or may not remember, P. Diddy, I don't know what he's going by anymore, but he did the Vote or Die thing, which was a huge campaign he did through commercials and the internet. And he used MySpace, back when MySpace was still relevant. And they had noticed that the amount of youth voters they had come out had increased by about 23%. In a matter of 4 years, that's a pretty large number. And then the following year, in 2008, when Obama was campaigning, the majority of his campaigns ran across YouTube, Facebook, MySpace. The increase there was 46% in youth voters. And on top of that, 58% of those voters said that they relied on the internet as a way to inform themselves on Obama's campaign. The election was seen through America as a reemergence of youthful voters. Between 2000 and 2008, there's a 51% increase in voter turnout and youth voter turnout. The youth of America is plugged in and more active than ever thanks to social networking. And we've all seen what has happened within the Egypt. If you've been watching the news, they had the Arab Spring and everything like that. It was all because of Facebook, or at least linked to Facebook. There was a young man who talked to Senator McCain, who held up his BlackBerry in the center of Egypt and said, "I can have 200,000 people in this square in 2 hours to protest and throw over this government in just 2 hours." So that's the advantageous part of social networking. That's how this is all held together. Now the downside of that is about 11% of the population nowadays is saying that they prefer this new socialized network over what they deem RL, which is real life. And real life seems to be too complicated, I suppose. But that's how it is nowadays. And it's up to us as individuals to decide what we're going to do with this. Anytime new technology comes along, you have to ask yourself, how do we handle this? How do we deal with this as a people? And in some areas, it's shown as this great thing, where people can really educate themselves and get connected. On the other hand, you have to ask yourselves, how connected are we? And just a quick question for all of you. If you didn't have a cell phone, where you couldn't go on Facebook, how would life be for you?
Suck.
It would
Difficult.
You see what I'm saying?
Be lost.
Difficult.
Horrible. Difficult.
Lost.
Difference right there, though.
Pathetic. That's
I wouldn't know anybody's number.
I don't know anybody's number.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
Yeah.
And you see what I'm saying? That's exactly how it feels, but should it be that way?
No.
So,
I still don't know.
And that's the only 911 411 I know.
so the end all be all on social networking is while it's proven to have increased people in politics, it's increased people in awareness on things, such as the issues in Uganda, which is going on right now through the Just Coding campaign. It also has a detrimental effect on society. It's how we handle it ourselves. You take the good, you take the bad, and there you have the facts of life.
Cheers.
Good job.
Yay! I'm a person too.